15, 2016 voting meeting of the Pine-Richland School Board. We'll begin with a pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call. Ms. Williams?
Yes. Dr. Banyas?
Here.
Mr. DiTullio?
Here.
Mr. Sundo?
Here.
Mr. Kashani?
Here.
Ms. Dawson? Ms. Goebel? Here. Ms. Johnston? Mr. Lyons? Ms. Oland? Thank you.
For our president's statement, I would like to ask for a moment of silence. The district would like to take a moment of silence to remember a beloved paraeducator, Monica Young, who passed away on February 12, 2016. Monica has been an important part of the team as a paraeducator at Wexford Elementary School since 1997, and she'll be greatly missed by colleagues, friends, and family. Funeral services will take place at 10 a.m. on Tuesday, February 16, 2016 at St. Alphonsus Church in Wexford, where she was an active member. Thank you. Item 1.02 will begin with the recognition of visitors. If anybody wishes to address the board, please do so. Seeing none, we'll move to recognition. Ms. Hathorn.
Thank you. 4 Pine-Richland High School students were selected for the Pennsylvania Music Educators Association Regional Choir to be hosted at Western Beaver High School on March 16th. The students include senior Madison Engel, junior Samantha Dluski and Jake Peterson, and sophomore Sophia Hudak. Choral director Lee Rickard says those students, along with junior Brian Berthold, were also selected to participate in the District 1 Chorus Festival at Penn Hills, and that's on February 3rd. Pine-Richland will be hosting the PMAA District 1 Junior High Festival April 22nd through the 23rd at the high school. Orchestra teacher Caitlin Perras says Pine-Richland students that were selected include 9th grader Christopher Mustovic, 8th graders Anyan Akwanya, Aranya Krishnan, Christina Vigna, Samuel Massoub, and 7th graders Carolyn Dawson and Gabrielle Stone. Junior Alex Campus participated in the PMEA District 1 Orchestra at Upper St. Clair January 9th, and his first chair placement allows him to move on in the PMEA Regional Orchestra at State College on February 25th to play the French horn. Also, seniors Aiden Lakshman and Will Newell, juniors Andrew Gaffey and Alex Campus, and sophomore Troy Rollins participated in the PMEA District Band at South Fayette on January 29th. Aiden, Will, and Troy qualified for regional band at Valley High. That will be hosted on March 9th through the 11th. Senior Aiden Lakshman also auditioned and has been selected for the PMEA All-State Jazz Band in Hershey, hosted March 3rd to the April 2nd. And band director Brian Scott says Aiden is only the Pine-Richland musician to be chosen for this group since 1997, so that's pretty good. The marching band will perform at New York City Tartan Day Parade on April 9th, and the high school jazz ensemble will perform at Carnegie Hall in Oakland with the CMU and WVU ensembles on April 21st. Plus, the high school marching band has been invited once again to perform the national anthem at the Pirate Game on the 22nd of August. So all of those auditions and invitations, a great honor. Now, nearly 60 Pine-Richland students earned more than 100 awards in the Western PA Regional Scholastic Art and Writing Competition. This year, junior Amanda Ebner earned a Gold Key Award in the Science Fiction Fantasy category in the writing portion. Her Gold Key award-winning entry will compete at the national level along with Gold Key art portfolio winners, which include senior Julian Brooks, Sarah Libby, Molly Gogler, and Gold Key individual art winners, which included seniors Alaska Intestines, Julian Brooks, junior Kayla Duffy, seniors Molly Gugler, Olivia Gormley, and ninth grader Cameron Cantor. And seniors Sarah Libby and Matthew McLaughlin also earned that recognition. Gold Key and Silver Key award winners will be on display at Community College, Allegheny Campus North through February 20th, and concluding with an award ceremony the same day at 2 p.m. Also, you can visit Pine-Richland.org for all the silver and honorable mention winners, too many to name. Also, congratulations to some of our graduates. 2015 graduate Zachary Magai was appointed leader of his Air Force ROTC Unit Guard at the University of North Carolina at Charlotte. He is the only freshman to serve in a leadership role in his unit. You might recall Zachary the year of 2014 when he earned the Gold Valor Award for saving a girl from drowning off the coast of North Carolina. Also, 2000 Pine-Richland High School graduate and soccer player Megan Klingenberg is being named Sportswoman of the Year in the Dapper Dans Award program, and you know she was nominated many years, so this is an accomplishment for her. She'll be honored at 7 p.m. on Wednesday. Also, congratulations to the Pine-Richland High School basketball teams as they participate in the WPIAL playoffs. If you've been following, the boys team will take on Central Catholic on Saturday in the second round. They took on Norwin this past weekend and taking a win, a 62-50 win. The Lady Rams take on McKeesport tomorrow night at 6:30. So congratulations to all of our students, teachers, staff, coaches for their accomplishments. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hathorn. It's fascinating to see you almost run out of breath running over all the accomplishments of our students. Correspondence, Ms. Williams.
We have not received any at this time.
Item 1.05, minutes for approval. Motion to approve the January 18, 2016 minutes as attached.
Second.
The item has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say yes. Yes?
Yes. Yes.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item 2.01, teaching and learning assessment. I assume this goes to Dr. Pasquinelli?
Dr. Davis.
Oh, Dr.
Me?
Davis.
Oh, how
My
exciting
mistake.
it is. It's a great day because this morning we had a 3-hour in-service on assessment. The strategic initiative for assessment over 4 years asks us to implement a balanced range of state, national, and local assessments to provide progress monitoring of our students and use the results to guide instruction. We spent this morning working with our teachers to understand their assessments that they use in their classrooms. That's a local assessment. The first thing, of course, is to begin to lay the groundwork of common language. So it's important that we all are on the same page of the 3 big ideas of assessment. The first is that to fully measure student learning, you must measure both achievement and growth. You cannot have a full picture of student learning just with one. And we know this by our achievement report every year. We have, over the years, begun to truly show a balance of achievement and assessment as defined by the state PSSAs and PVARs. The second big idea is that we assess different levels of understanding. You can have assessments that ask questions that have right and wrong answers and are easily scored of recall. You can ask questions that are conceptual, but you can also ask questions that require strategic thinking to answer that question, and even a higher level than that, extended thinking that then asks students to transfer what they know to new situations. So there is levels of understanding within the assessments we create as teachers to give the best understanding of student learning. Third big idea, we also use assessments for different purposes. We assess summatively at the end of instruction to understand the mastery of students. What did they ultimately learn because of a chunk of teaching? That's summative. That's an assessment of learning. But we also know that many of our assessments are assessments for learning, which occur during instruction and take measures of learning along the way. So that because of the information we're getting in assessments for learning, we can use the results to guide our instructional decisions and change up the instruction to meet student needs. So with all of this common language well understood, the key to the morning, the point of the morning, was for teachers to gain practice analyzing their assessments. Teachers brought assessments with them. They spent time asking the question, what kind of assessment is this? What's the purpose of the assessment? Where does this assessment fit on a continuum of possible assessments? And then, question by question, what is the level of understanding of that question? And what is the importance of the answer? Is the answer something that is essential and critically important to know and core understanding? Is it something that you need to know? Or is something out there that you're probably exposed to but don't really need to know? So when teachers got into analyzing their own assessments, and we were in vertical teams all day, the last thing we asked the teachers to do was to, as a department, select sample assessments that the teachers in the department felt best represented their current use of assessments in the department. They're turning those in to Dr. Pasquinelli, Dr. Miller, myself, Mr. Hustwit, and we're going to take those with the assessment committee, and which is teachers and administrators, and we will look at those chosen assessments as representing a baseline of our current assessments, so that we'll take what is currently being done to help us plan a guide of a process for how we help teachers write assessments next year. If you remember at all our curriculum maps, we did not touch the whole column devoted to assessments yet, because there was so much work to be done in truly understanding the world of assessment. So the assessment committee will take a look at the representative assessments and create a design, a guide for helping teachers create assessments for their curriculum maps next year.
Thanks, Doc. Anything to add, Dr. P. or Mr. Hustwit?
No, I mean, just one thing around one of our other short-term goals is in instructional strategies. The way we tried to frame the presentation today is around some of those best strategies for instruction to model for our teachers, because that's another one of our short-term goals, is to identify those most effective strategies, share them with one another, and then implement them. So it ties in nicely to also the other long-term goal of instructional strategies and the short-term goal of building that model that we want to replicate and then start to implement starting next year. So they tied in nicely together today.
This was all per department?
Pardon me?
Per department,
Each
correct?
department was together, that's correct.
Okay, so is there any crossing of the departments in how they look at their assessments? Is there like a general base? I know that very specific, science, math, okay, we're doing this, but is there anything, because there's different ways to teach, and
Right.
a science teacher may have something that would be great for the language teacher,
Right,
and that's,
right, and that couldn't be more true, but for now, we are working within departments
That's fine.
until
Yeah.
we get a better common language and understanding, and then we can extend by cross-curricular.
Yeah, but the point of the exercise, and again, we didn't want to go too far tonight to try to keep things moving. The lens that you use to evaluate an assessment is the same lens,
Right.
regardless of
Of the
content area.
department, yeah.
So it doesn't, the depth of knowledge that a test gets, it doesn't matter whether it's science, social studies, et cetera.
Okay.
So that's the same set of lenses.
And one last thing, Mr. Tullio, that assessment committee that Dr. Davis referenced is a cross-section of teachers within different departments, so that'll be the group that takes that information, helps guide the model for building assessments into the future. So that gives us the opportunity to talk to people within different departments.
That's the committee, okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Two observations. I love, I don't know if this is you, Dr. D, again, using the presentation and the format to illustrate, and again, so in the PDF, that last question, illustrating the example of the difference between the multiple choice and the open-ended question, the type of learning you're looking for.
Right.
I think it's very effective, because you're obviously in a teaching moment, so seeing that, it's great and helpful for us as well. You know, as always, this and each subsequent step in the plan and building up is still very reliant on the foundations you lay. So we need to continue to shore up that curriculum and make sure that we're focusing, especially when we talk about these higher forms of learning. Is it being implemented in the classroom? Certainly wouldn't want to see some of these higher forms of learning tested in a you know, in a summative way when what happened in the classroom didn't give the students the ability to go there. So, and I think you guys know that. But it does, I want to stress that as well.
Not only is that true, one of the things we did leading up to today's in-service, and probably a month's worth of planning went into this morning, every teacher in our district had an article to read. But prior to reading that article to help build that language, we had before, during, and after reading questions, okay? So we assigned those. Then we built an artificial assessment, a fake test for the teachers to take, that was completely different in its design than the learning activity that we had the teachers engage in. And we posed a series of questions about, was this quiz fair? Was this assessment fair based on the way we designed learning and connected it? And the answer, no, it wasn't. It wasn't well designed, and it didn't align. So your point is well made. In order to get there, we have to see, you know, if you picture those three circles, curriculum, instruction, assessment, we need to see the overlap. So you're right on.
Any further discussion on teaching and learning? Hearing none, Mr. Sundo, Finance.
Item 3.01, motion to approve the financial reports dated January 31st, 2016, and to approve the accounts payable dated February 15th, 2016, in the amount of $885,572.30, and paid accounts for February 2016 in the amount of $2,694,469.78 as listed.
Second.
The item has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Item 3.02, motion to approve the February 2016 budget transfers in the amount of $44,451.
Second.
The item has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Item 3.03, motion to adopt a resolution authorizing the incurring of non-electoral debt to refund all or a portion of the school district's general obligation refunding bonds, series of 2011, as presented to the board.
Second.
The item has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor
Yeah.
say yes.
Well,
Oh.
excuse me, we do need a roll call vote on that.
Okay, fine. We'll have a roll call vote.
Mr. Lyons?
Yes.
Ms. Goebel? Yes. Mr. Sundo?
Yes.
Mr. DiTullio?
Yes.
Dr. Banyas?
Yes.
Mr. Kashani?
Yes.
Thank you.
Motion passes.
Item 3.4 is an informational item. We did have a finance committee held prior to this meeting, starting at 6 o'clock. We talked about the motion that we just passed, the refunding of the Series 2011 series bonds. We had a budget update from the administration. We had a discussion, or actually a presentation by the administration of structural change on how we budget. That will be discussed more at the next Finance Committee meeting. So if anyone wants to know about it, it would be a good idea to attend that meeting. We also reviewed the draft capital funding plan to get an idea of what is coming down the road in the next several years. A reminder of Finance Committee meetings. First, we'll talk about the next meeting, March 21st.
Dennis, I apologize.
Oh,
It just,
sorry.
and I wasn't sure whether to do it here or up above, but it's probably worth mentioning during the full board meeting, the recommendation of the committee with respect to the refunding option.
Yes.
Okay, so the, and I can make it reference to 3.03, it's not an integral part of the motion to refund, but under 3.03, there were 3 refunding options for those who weren't at the Finance Committee. The recommendation of the committee was that the board take the savings, the interest savings that we incurred by this refunding to shorten the overall maturity and reduce the overall debt profile of the school district rather than accrue any operational savings from that lowered interest rate. So all the savings and lowered interest rate will be put toward reducing our debt overall. That was a recommendation of the Finance Committee.
Yeah, actually, it was unanimous recommendation of the Finance Committee meeting. Before I list out the meetings, I realized, Mark, you cannot make the next Finance Committee meeting. I didn't know if we wanted to consider changing that meeting so you could attend. I believe all the regular board meeting slots have been taken, at least in that time frame. It would end up being a night that would be an off night. I don't know how you feel about attending that meeting, Mark.
I mean, I certainly understand if you don't reschedule. If there is a general feeling that you'd like to reschedule so I could be there, I'd appreciate that as well. So I'm fine either way.
Okay.
My thought was it was such a shift in the way we were looking at budgets and the conversation that we were having is pretty important to the future. I would like if all of us could be there, and that was just my feeling. But
No, that's fine, Greg. Obviously, you said you were out of town.
I'm out of the country, actually.
Yeah.
Does,
When are you out? When are you back?
I get back on, let me look at the calendar. I think it's the 22nd, which is, I think, a Tuesday, right?
Yep, it'll be the 22nd.
So I'm back in the saddle on the 23rd of March.
hey, Mark, and this might come up when we have some later, we have another meeting probably to schedule, a special board meeting potentially, when we look at some of our later items on the agenda.
Okay.
That may, I don't know if we get to it then as well, we could be hitting the same time frame. So you're out the week of the 14th pretty much, or just?
I'm out from the 18th through the 22nd.
Okay, so maybe a little past our time frame for that. Dennis, you had made a suggestion even on the need for the full schedule.
Correct.
And Dana, at the committee meeting, we certainly, what we just received, and all the board should be aware, was a very comprehensive revised budget. There are a lot of points that hit between November and what we just received. That flow of data slows to more of a trickle or more of a percolation because it's still chunky, but we don't see a lot of change in the raw numbers.
That's correct. I don't anticipate a large amount of changes between now and March. There are only a small handful on my desk right now. It is likely that we will see some more changes in April. So typically some of our insurance rates start coming in April. I know the staffing conversation is happening at the beginning of April. So probably if I was going to select one or the other, a meeting in April would probably be more comprehensive to line item changes. Not to say that we would spend a large amount of time on those, because unless something drastic happens, they'd be pretty self-explanatory.
I know Mark had indicated, which was a good idea, we need to discuss at some point, how we're going to handle, the future of the lines coming together and reversing. And I think that was going to be a big part of the discussion at the next meeting. Is that something that the administration would feel comfortable discussing at the April 25th meeting, or do you feel that's too late to have that discussion?
No, actually, I think that would work, because the proposed final budget would be listed on the May agenda.
Okay.
But essentially, when you approve the proposed final budget at the planning meeting in May, it's more to just officially place that out for advertisement. There are still changes that can and do get made between May and June. So even if we were having those discussions in April, I don't think that strategically, I don't think there would be any issue in that.
I guess what I would say is, so if what we're saying, eliminate the 21st of March.
Right.
Pick up at the 25th of April. The only disclaimer being, if something were to occur in the next month and a half and we felt the need to schedule something
Sure.
specific, let's keep
Correct.
that open, but otherwise, we can wait till April.
Okay,
Okay.
okay,
Yeah,
great.
thank you.
Thanks. The rest of the meetings that we have scheduled right now are April 25th, May 2nd, May 16th, and June 6th. May 2nd, we would be voting on the proposed final budget to allow 30 days to be advertised, and we would vote for the final budget on June the 6th.
Thank you, Mr. Sundo. Academic achievement, nobody is here on that committee except for me, so I'll read it. Item 4.01, Scantron Agreement. Recommended action, motion to approve the Scantron Loan Program Agreement for Pine-Richland High School in the amount of $1,700 annually as attached.
Second.
The item has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say yes.
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 Opposed? Motion passes. Item 4.02 is a reminder of Academic Achievement Committee meetings. On March 14th, we'll be discussing textbook resources, including science, English language arts for grades 7 through 9, science for grades 3 through 8, and social studies grades 3 through 12. And on April 4th, to tentatively discuss instruction and assessment with Dr. Davis, additional textbook-related resources in high school, middle states. Buildings and grounds, Mr. DiTullio.
Item 5.01, Hance and Richland Elementary paving project update. The update is basic from the standpoint of we have a bid that is out, or I'm sorry, a bid advertisement that is out in the Tribune Review and Post-Gazette, as well as on our website. And I don't know if, Dana, do you want to speak to the schedule that we're going to be looking at here?
In terms of the schedule, this is similar to what Eccles originally had placed in the last update. When we receive in the bids on February 26th, depending on how many contractors there are and what level of review needs to take place between the Director of Buildings and Grounds and the architects, we will be able to put together a bid tabulation relatively quickly and communicate those results back out to the board. We would be looking to have the authorization of the bid at the end of March, so you'll have plenty of time to review what those will look like. And bear in mind that we will have alternates for both programs, or I'm sorry, both paving projects. So when we do look at those, we'll have to analyze each one of the alternates separately as well. And then when we move into the construction phase, likely those will begin, again, depending on which contractor we select as to whenever they're available. Typically, those we would start as soon as school lets out.
Any other comments on buildings and grounds? Student services, Mr. Lyons, would you mind reading those, please?
That'd be my pleasure. Item 6.01 is a motion to approve student attendance and application of the Student Discipline Code for a trip to Peru in June 2017.
Second.
The item has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Opposed? Motion passes.
Item 6.02 is a motion to approve student attendance and application of the Discipline Code for high school wrestlers to travel to Hershey, PA for the PIA Wrestling Championships as described.
Second.
Item is moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Item 6.03 is a motion to approve the student attendance and application of the Student Discipline Code for high school swim and dive team to travel to Lewisburg, PA for the PIA State Championships.
Second.
The item is moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Item 6.04 is a motion to approve student attendance and application of the discipline code for an Air Force Junior ROTC trip to Youngstown, Ohio, as described.
Second.
Item has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say yes.
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 Opposed? Motion passes.
Item 6.05 is a motion to approve student attendance and application of the discipline code for an Air Force Junior ROTC student trip to Parkersburg, West Virginia.
Second.
The item has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say yes.
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 Opposed? Motion passes.
Item 6.06 is a motion to accept, in accordance with Board Policy 702, a half-size countertop oven from the Pine-Richland basketball and football boosters, as described.
Second.
The item is moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? We do extend our gratitude to the boosters. Thank you very much.
Item 6.07 is a motion to accept, in accordance with Board Policy 702, and again, with our gratitude, a donation of additional cheerleading uniforms from the Pine-Richland Parent Cheerleading Association.
Second.
Item is moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say yes.
Yes. Yes.
Opposed? Once again, most thanks to the PCA.
And item 6.08 is a reminder that a Student Services Committee is scheduled for next month on March 7th at 6 p.m. Topics to include gifted education, school counseling, and middle school sports.
Just a quick comment on that. Dr. Davis will have, prior to that meeting, some handouts, information that we would really ask the board to review so that we can limit our presentation time and hopefully have as much discussion as possible.
Thank you, Mr. Lyons, Dr. Miller. Staff Services, Ms. Goebel.
7.01, personnel items. Motion to approve personnel and supplemental items as presented.
Second.
The item is moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say yes.
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 Opposed? Motion passes.
7.02, motion to approve the creation of the supplemental position of middle school drama club assistant sponsor at a stipend of $942.
Second.
The item has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say yes.
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 Opposed? Motion passes.
7.03, motion to approve the student teacher and student practicum as attached.
Second.
The item has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say yes.
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 Opposed? Motion passes.
7.04, motion to approve as a second reading of the batch policy 800 series.
Second.
The item has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion passes. Operational, thank you, Ms. Goebel. Operational Services, Mr. Lyons.
Item 8.01 is a motion to authorize the Allegheny Intermediate Unit to enter into a master service agreement for the Regional Wide Area Network Services, or R1, on behalf of the school district, and to confirm our participation in the AIU-3 R1 consortium, allowing the AIU to submit forms for E-rate discounts on the district's behalf.
Second.
The item is moved and seconded. Is there any discussion?
I want to thank Mr. Stromaner for working with the AIU and putting this together, and thank the AIU and their technology department for coordinating the bidding. It's actually complicated from a legal perspective if you've read through some of this, coordinating all the E-rate filing and associated responsibilities of the member districts. There was actually a great article, I think, in the Pine Creek Journal, or the Trib, I can't remember this week, about the significant cost savings that districts throughout Allegheny County will achieve with this. So it's material and meaningful.
Thank you, Mr. Lyons. We're all hoping that you'll be able to expand upon that in your future roles.
Thank you.
You want to take a vote?
We got to vote.
Oh, we're seconded, right?
Yes,
Yep.
we are.
Okay, the item is moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Item 8.02 is a motion to approve an agreement with Northern Tier Regional Library to continue to operate a community library facility on the premises of the Pine-Richland High School from July 2016 through June 2021, as presented.
Second.
The item is moved and second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion passes. Board business, item 9.01, first reading of Series Policy 000, Local Board Procedures Batch. Recommended action, motion to approve as a first reading, Batch Series Policy 000, Local Board Procedures as attached.
Second.
The item has been moved and second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item 9.02, acceptance of School Board Director resignation, Laura Oland. Recommended action, motion to accept the resignation of Ms. Laura Oland as a Region 3 School Board Director for the 4-year term beginning December 2015.
Second.
The item has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion?
I'd just like to thank Laura for her service. This position can be tough at times, so I think we all know that. Anyone watching it, it's tough, and she's put in a lot of service for us, so we should all thank her and at the same time accept her wishes.
There's many qualities that go into an excellent board member. And high on the list is someone with a pulse on the community, someone who has great intelligence, someone who's highly perceptive, someone who puts in a lot of hard work. It is with great regret, though with understanding, that I agreed to accept Ms. Oland's resignation and acknowledge her achievements on all 4 of those qualities of an excellent board member. Is there any further discussion?
Yeah, I'd just like to add on behalf of the senior leadership team, and personally over the past year in 2015 in her role as president, her time commitment to the board and to understanding, reading, asking questions was significant and much appreciated. This agenda tonight is one example. There are items that are being moved and approved quickly, but behind the scenes has been a significant amount of work and reading and understanding, and that's an area where Mrs. Oland invested considerable time. And from our standpoint, she was always quick to point at the student and to talk about the impact of decisions on students in the district. So again, on our behalf, we express our thanks to her as well.
Is there any further discussion?
It was very well said, Jeff.
Thank you. Hearing no further discussion, all those in favor say yes.
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 Opposed? Motion passes. Item 9.03 is a related motion to declare a school board director vacancy for Region 3 to be held until the next election in 2017.
Second.
The item has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion?
What's our schedule on this? So it's accepted today, then we have 30.
30 today plus 30.
So
That's the most technical reading. I mean, if you did it on the 30.
So it's a special meeting, correct, that we have to have?
Yeah, well, yeah, if we were, yeah.
Yeah. Well, once we accept the action, we can discuss our method.
Okay.
But we have to declare the vacancy first, I suppose. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion passes. Now, in the past, we have advertised for applicants from the particular region in which the vacancy is created. and interviewed the applicants in one night with alternating order of questions. Does anybody wish to alter that or have suggestions to change or different suggestion as to how we choose this school director? Everybody is comfortable with the current, with the current practice? For any of you who are watching in Region 3, we would love to have your application. You have huge shoes to fill, but we expect that you will grow in your job. So we look forward to anyone applying who wishes to join us.
Dr. Banyas?
Yes,
Do
sir.
can we recommend a date or come closer on a date for that special meeting? It's helpful, obviously, the soonest that the date is identified for the communications to go out, right?
I'm willing to accept suggestions.
Well, I guess I had a question for the administration on the Academic Achievement Committee on March 14 is a 6 p.m. meeting. It's a Monday, so the applicants better get used to Monday meetings anyway.
That's a standalone meeting?
It's a standalone meeting.
One thing in connection with that, we just opened up a slot at the March 21st meeting. Do you want,
It's an hour and a half.
Pardon me?
It's only an hour and a half.
And Mark won't be available.
And Mark won't be available, right?
For the academic achievement.
We could move,
I was going to move that until March 21st if the Academic Achievement Committee wanted to do it, and that would open up the entire night of the 14th.
he was thinking of you. We won't.
Well, since I'm the only one
Well,
from
well,
academic
what do you want
achievement
to
here,
do?
I'm
Sorry,
totally
the
fine with that.
No, the 21st of
I
March.
don't know who else is.
Okay.
And yeah, so that's fine, we just want to move academic to that date, and then that opens up,
The 14th.
yeah.
Dr.
14th.
I could speak for Dr. Pasquinelli. He would appreciate the additional
So
week
we-
in
that was-
preparation
yeah.
for the 21st.
That works very nicely.
Well, we thought a good tie-in for the new board member would be if you could hit him or her with all the information from the
You
academic
can see it here?
a week
Yeah.
early.
So this is what we got now. Essentially, this just got struck.
So-
So then,
March 14th, which will give us. what
Special
exactly?
meeting.
20-some days.
then we'll tentatively plan the interviews for applicants on March 14th. And that's at 6 o'clock, correct? That's we have our originally scheduled meeting?
Well,
With the committee
do we
meetings.
normally do, I don't know if we go, I wouldn't recommend 6 o'clock for this one.
Okay, what would you recommend? 7:30?
7, well.
7 maybe.
7, I don't want to go to 7 just because of work schedules. They'll
Okay.
figure out work
7?
eventually that's 6.
Does 7 work for everybody?
Yeah. If that's
We okay
okay.
with 7?
Okay, with 7.
Okay, March 14th, 2016, we will plan on interviewing interested applicants for our school board vacancy.
Do you have an application deadline? When would you like the application received prior to the 14th?
What have we done in the past?
There been a week in the past before the meeting?
Probably not less than a
Couple-
week. Yeah.
So we want to do,
About the
Okay.
first.
A week enough time?
I would assume so.
Okay, so we would set our deadline then at March 7th to close the applications.
I seem to recall getting them out to the board the weekend before an early week meeting, so that would
So
be
March 7th
sufficient.
should work for
Yeah, so
everybody.
March 7, yeah.
So do we have to also
Right, yeah.
advertise this in a trib?
We do.
Okay.
I'll take care of that.
That's our publication.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Barb will get us too.
Any further discussion on the board vacancy? Oh, one other thing about this board vacancy is Ms. Oland is also a member of the Beatty Board, and we will need to replace her. I just thought of that. We don't have a meeting this week. Is anybody interested? Does anybody want to think about this in joining me on the Beatty Board? Free food once a month? Really good food, by the way. Well, I urge you all to think about it. If anybody's interested, please let me know. I will carry on until such time as we have someone for the Beatty Board. Reports. The administration have a report?
Just a comment regarding Annie Jr. was performed at the middle school, and it was truly outstanding. The number of kids involved, the quality of the performance, it was a great series of nights. I think they had 5 total shows, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 2 on Saturday. Packed house, really positive, really positive.
Any other reports?
I have one. And I'm going to say this publicly because the individual happens to be my brother, but the president of the Seneca Valley School Board is going to be running for an office as a member of the public school or the PESERS Retirement Board Funding Committee. My brother is seeking signatures from area school board members. He needs to have 25 signatures from, I believe it's at least 5 different school boards to be able to participate in the election. There's 15 trustees on this committee, and they basically have discussions about how the PESERS are going to be invested, things like that, for the retirement funds for the teachers. And one of the things that my brother's big on is the fact that the eastern side of the state tends to have Harrisburg's ear a lot more than the western side of the state, so that's why he's going to be seeking this. So of the school board members here, I have a petition, if anyone is willing to sign it, on behalf of my brother and of our area to have representation on the PESERS board.
Thanks, Greg. I've sat down and had conversations with your brother before I had conversations with you, so I'd be happy to sign.
Yeah, had you had discussion with me first, you might not be so happy.
Any other reports? Time for our second recognition of visitors. Seeing none, meeting is adjourned to executive session to discuss a legal matter. What was this for anyway?
That's for CD. That was in Dr. Miller's. I know, I try to read these things.
What is this for?
That's the library.
No, I had, through the years and stuff, I've been pushing for an earlier release and stuff like that. Folks were, and it was coming along internally. Well, one of I told people was that, hey,
Is this one for us?
Major finance library. Was it a major issue if I don't stay, or do you need me back there?
No, no. If you have an opinion, let me know what it is.
Is this on the transgender?
Yeah.
I mean, I just trust Dr. Miller knows what he's doing.
Because I would like to have everybody's opinion one way or the other. If they're okay with giving
How do
him,
you feel about it?
well, I want to hear what people say, basically. But it's a complicated issue because we have a couple of board members who disagree on it. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, maybe I'll come then.
So it's actually a nice place to be, because you can hold moral ground. Saying, you know, the only reason we're doing this is your number's just too low. We understand you don't wanna pay more taxes systemically.
You know, if it's not really specific, I know that, you know, I get calls all the time from others.
Thank you for doing all this.
Thank you very much for taking the time.
Been all over the place, but it's
No, it's all right. As I said, I'm trying to give Teresa a little bit extra, buy her a little extra time.
Okay, have a good night.
I understand the old time. But that's not a matter of what you're saying. It doesn't matter. But these guys are just.
Yeah, there was,
So Danny took all my low hanging fruit. He took all the low hanging fruit. He did, if you recall a couple of years ago, he was saying, you know, those rates, you know, I know they make their numbers look great. Then he went on to say, well, you wanna do something? And he said, what? I said, wait, what kind of deal would that be for me? Because he said something like, it may have just been
It should be as simple as hitting combine. And it just,
And he was like, well, but, you know, I've watched him coming down.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
You know, I used to think, he don't trust me.
I saw the salt trucks going by. So
Yep.
weather out there, I guess.
Now he's
Well,
like,
Brian said that we were supposed to have like ice at starting at 8 o'clock. We're supposed to have it raining ice, sleet, I guess that you would call it.
well, but it's also this whole when Laura came from a personal loyal support of our firm, I don't want to go against that. Because in just 4 years,
And then it
we're
said,
showing up for 2.
you know, it could be icy through 7, but that might lessen
Had it
earlier.
more-
It's
I
all
remember I
there.
spent the first 9-10
Yeah,
months
for
of
sure.
her on the board building.
Regardless of
this
it,
trust.
yeah.
Remember, 'cause she was making so many bad decisions. That whole thing.
Yeah, I know, that's how my kids were too. Mom, have they called you yet? Oh, wow.
Boy, she's gonna think I'm part of this cabal. But then over a period of 4 years, she finally,
Jeff,
you know